Creative Brain Candy by creators for creators.
Welcome to Simply Stogie's Cigars and Coffee is what we call this, right?
Is it cigars and coffee? Yeah, it is. Cigars and coffee.
Yeah.
Oh, you almost had me confused because
it's not hard.
Coffee and cigars.
Yeah. I'm your host, James. This is your other host, Tim.
The lovely Tim.
We are in Habano, Davenport, the Habano Cigars Lounge, Hookah Cigars Lounge here in Davenport, Iowa. This is our second cigar home, if you will.
Yes.
Yeah. Our first cigar home. And it's a tie.
Yeah, it's a tie. It just depends on what side of the state you're on.
Yeah. Is David's. So Tim made the drive today, and then we drove to Cedar Rapids.
Well, no. I made the drive a little bit more than halfway, and you picked me up, and then 8 minutes out, realized that you forgot a very important piece.
I forgot the mics.
Yeah,
I forgot the
mics.
I forgot the mics.
Who forgets the mics?
I got the most important piece, though, which was the camera.
Yeah.
So today
we were going to do the whole thing sign language unless we went back to get the mics.
Well, it's got that on there, but the
Yeah.
problem is we're going to
It's not
record
that
a Tales from the Lounge for our Patreon supporters here. When we're done, we're going to go have some lunch.
Grab bite to eat.
Yep. So we're going to grab a bite to eat. We'll come back. We'll record a Tales from the Lounge for our Patreon supporters. Go to patreon.com/Simply Stogies if you'd like access to the Patreon only show, Tales from the Lounge. If you're in Davenport, Iowa, this is the place to go. I know there is a lounge across the river that I won't name because it's terrible. This is the lounge to go to when you're in Davenport, Iowa, in the Quad Cities, Eastern Iowa. This is it. Habanos is fantastic. They've got a huge walk-in humidor when you first walk in, which eventually I'll go out. We'll get some B-roll.
B-roll.
And there's
as they call it in the biz.
As they call it in the biz. And you'll be able to take a virtual walkthrough. This is a fantastic lounge. They've done a lot to it. They've got rabbit airs. They've got the HVAC system. They've got 4 TVs.
Yeah, it's been a few months since I've been here, and a lot has definitely changed since then.
Yeah, it's fantastic. So Davenport, Iowa, Habano Cigar and Hookah. Fantastic place to be. Tell Freddie or Mark that James from Simply Stogie sent you, or Tim.
Don't use my name. They don't know who the hell I am.
They don't. They know who I am. They don't know who he is.
Yeah, I'm nobody.
And hopefully, even after today, they'll be like, Tim who?
Yeah, chances. Hold on, let me shake that magic 8 ball. Odds are high.
Odds are high. Yeah. Odds are very high. Once again, I can't find the splitter, so we'll be buying a splitter at some point so that Tim can wear a headset. He hates not hearing himself, folks.
It's so true. I hate it. I want to hear myself.
I'd also like to, before we get started, apologize for the editing of this episode because I didn't do it. Tim did it.
So let's go. Let's do a little bit of a backstory on that. I haven't. No, I've done one cigars and coffee.
You did do one,
but it did not. That wasn't the one that published.
Wasn't it? Wasn't it the one
in the
backyard?
Yeah.
That one was right after the derecho.
Yeah, okay. So I did do that one, and immediately, and this is even before you had watched it, you're like, I'm going to have to re-edit it and make all these changes to it because you just assumed that I was going to do horribly bad. Whatever. I don't think you actually did do anything with it.
No.
So anyway, we were talking.
I left it as a testament to your editing skills.
Yeah. So anyway, we were doing a herf during the week. And I said, hey, and I know how busy you are. I said, hey, why don't we do this? We'll take turns editing this episode, or not this episode, but this video cast, whatever you want to call it.
There needs to be a little bit more context to it. Yeah. You said you look annoyed with me every time I talk.
Yeah.
You look annoyed with me, James.
Yeah, if you watch the last one, every time I'm talking, like first off, he has this great excuse for what happens, but I'm talking, I'm rambling on, and all of a sudden it just cuts. It just does this weird cross cut and then moves on to another subject. I'm like, wow, am I that bad to hang out with and talk to?
If you were that bad to hang out with, I wouldn't have been like, hey, let's drive an extra hour and a half together.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Which we did.
Are you trying to look annoyed at me? Is that what you're trying to do? You're failing miserably.
No, and then after that, it's like every time I'm talking, you're just like, oh, like...
Good Lord.
Yeah, he's saying no, that's not true. But then the last couple episodes, you've screwed with me in post, and so I feel like
I screwed with you once.
Yeah, but it seems like more than that. It was a good one.
It was a good one.
It was a good one. So anyway, I decided I want to get back. I want to get even. So we thought it would be we'll make a friendly little war over video editing,
and you, the viewer, get to reap
it'll be like Call of Duty.
Benefits.
It'll be Call of Duty. There's two companies that create it and come out every other year. One company sucks horrible. The other one is okay. They'll get to choose which one of us sucks and which one of us is okay.
I think I know who the viewers are going to choose. Not saying it's not me, but I'm saying it's not me. Let's before we get into this episode, which I think this is a very important episode. I think that it's something that we need to talk about. We need to talk about it as a community. I think we need to talk about it as individuals. We need to talk about it as a business community as well. And that's the CRA and the importance of the CRA and even to some extent the PCA. But we'll get into all of that and all the logistics of that here in just a second. But first I want to remind you, go to creativebraincandy.com. Check out all of the great family of podcasts that we've got there, including a brand new streamer. It's our first streamer that we've signed. It's Captain Nil Skill. Check him out. He's a casual streamer. You can follow him.
Nil
Skill, as in like, I have no skill.
I have no skill. That's right. Clever.
He's a gamer on Twitch. Fantastic. He's engaging with his audience. He's entertaining. He's fun to watch. So give him a look-see, creativebraincandy.com. You can check him out. While you're there, you can see I'm wearing the old school Simply Stogies logo. While you're there, click the merch button, and you can get your own Simply Stogies merch, including hats that Tim won't buy because they're trucker hats.
True.
But they also
Can you still buy the old logo stuff?
I don't think so. I think I took that down.
You finally fixed that?
I finally took that down.
That's good.
So it's all just the new logo stuff. So check it out at creativebraincandy.com. Also, go to simplystogies.com. We've got all kinds of great stuff there, including lounge reviews, cigar reviews, news, although we're kind of getting away from that and going to a more online magazine format. But there you can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and you can find out where to subscribe to the podcast. And while you're subscribe to this YouTube channel so you can get notified every time we put out new content, which is about once every other week.
That's a good idea.
It is. I think I'm done pimping and whoring myself and others for today.
I doubt it. I feel like you're going to do it one more time.
Probably for Tales from the Lounge.
Yeah, Tales from the Lounge.
What are you smoking today, Tim?
I am trying for the very first time a Hoyo de Nicaragua Numero Uno. Now, you told me this was a really good cigar.
I love that cigar.
That you might happen to have several of them in your personal stash.
I have a box of them.
So I figured, why not give it a try?
How's that working out for you? How are you digging it so far?
So far, it's nice and mild and kind of creamy. It's so far, but I mean, I'm just starting it. I'm just getting the foot down. So we'll see how it progresses.
Going with the Drew Estate Undercrown, the Shade. Very good mild smoke so far. It's a double Corona or a Corona double or something. I don't know. It's a big ass
Corona
cigar. Double. Is that? I don't know.
We can make up words.
Which, by the way, huge shout out to Drew Estate and the guys there and the gals there, because I'll tell you what, the barn smokers were canceled this year, unfortunately.
Oh, yeah.
They refunded everybody. And then they send everybody who signed up for it swag. And I signed up for the one that got me into all of them, right?
Was it five different events?
5 different events. Yeah. So there was Florida, Connecticut, Pennsylvania, Louisiana, and Kentucky. I don't think I'm missing one. And so I signed up for the All-Star. I was able to get into all of them if they had it. They didn't. They refunded everybody's money, and then they sent out the swag from everywhere. So if you just had Louisiana, you just got the Louisiana swag. If you were just going to Connecticut, you just got the Connecticut swag. But if you went and got the All-Star, you got,
like James,
all the swag. So I have a ton of Drew Estate stuff. I might maybe
what are you going to do with all
I might
that?
give some away.
Ooh.
Contest time? So real quick, before we get into talking about the CRA, I need to give a big shout out to somebody who really prompted this whole conversation earlier this week. Part of the Keepers of the Flame Cigar Club, Jane Solshine. She was asking people in the club if they were active in the CRA, and if they were active in the CRA, what were they doing? And if they supported the CRA and not active, why were they not active? And so I told her that I was kind of active, and that when the Rona is over, I do plan on applying to be an ambassador for them and go to events and try to spread the good word of the CRA. And as her and I had this conversation, it became apparent that a lot of people just aren't active. And it's almost like if they do decide to give money to the CRA, they give the money to the CRA, and then they're like, okay, that's all I need to do. Like, you go forth and do whatever you do with my money. And that's really not how things should be, is it, Tim?
Well, I mean that's entirely true. You know, you come up and you say, hey, I want to be a member, and whatever the deal is, whether it's a full price, $25 a year, or they always do like a 4th of July special for like $17.76. You can get a year membership. You can do 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, 5 year. You can even do a lifetime, right? And it is true that a lot of times what's going to happen, you put your money in, you get your membership card, it tells you when it expires, and then that's it. Like, what's actually going on, what's actually happening? Well, from my standpoint, I look at it as lobbyists and lawyers are not cheap, and that's where a majority of that money goes to is for that, because I can sit there and talk to you or anybody else about cigar rights or cigars, or I can't talk about NASCAR, but that was what I was going to use. But lobbyists and lawyers, they can talk that. They can fight that fight. So we can shoot the shit. They fight the fight. And unfortunately, we can shoot the shit for free. Lawyers, lobbyists, every word that comes out of their mouth costs at least $5. And that adds up pretty quick.
That's pretty accurate. But the question is how do you get involved with the CRA? How do you become active in the community? Because look, I've said more times than I can count, if you don't use your right, you run the risk of losing your right.
100%. Yep.
And when I say we, I mean the cigar community as a whole, the cigar industry, get tossed in with vaping. We get tossed in with cigarettes. We get tossed in with Swisher Sweets and Black and Milds. And I'm not
just throw everything in the bag, shake it up, and see what happens.
Right, and I'm not knocking Swisher Sweets or Black and Milds or anything else that you can get at a convenience store. I'm not. Is there a place for them? Maybe. This isn't the conversation that I want to have today, but we're not them. Those are used, we've said before on this show, mainly for
rolling blunts.
And that's not what we do. There aren't kids banging down the door to get into a cigar shop. They're just
haven't
not.
Seen one yet.
No. So supporting the CRA is the first step. And I think that's the initial step that people have to take. But a lot of people stop after that initial step. Like, how do you get involved with the CRA? How do you become an ambassador?
All right. So if you want to become an ambassador, then you just go out to the cigarrights.org and you apply. You actually put in your information and you write an essay and you say, hey, I want to become involved.
Wait, you have to write an essay?
Yeah. Yeah, you have to write, not like an official like college essay, but you have to write a deal that says, this is who I am and this is why I want to be involved and this is what I can do to benefit it. And then that goes up in front of a panel somewhere within the Cigar Rights, and they decide, yeah, you're a good fit or you're not a good fit. It seems like it's more complicated than what it really is. It's not super complicated.
So that'd be another step, the next step. I think another thing that we can do, just as smoking enthusiasts, as cigar enthusiasts, I think what we can do is we can talk to our local lounges and ask them if they are CRA members, because there are CRA memberships for businesses.
Well, okay, let's take a step back. Do you pay a membership? Let's just take the CRA out of the picture altogether. Do you pay a membership to another organization? You don't have to mention the name.
Oh, the PCA?
Well, not even that. We take cigars out of it equation. Are you an avid bowler and you bowl, and so you're a member of the PBA, or you are a supporter of the NRA? Or...
Wait.
What?
People who bowl pay money to an organization?
Yes.
They're not going to lose their right to bowl. I don't see the FDA or any government agency going after the PBA.
But that's not the point that I was trying to make, though.
Oh,
all right. Well, the point that I was trying to make is
my bad.
The point that I was trying to make is that you throw money at these different organizations, right? And why do you throw money at them? Do you throw them just because I've got an extra $25 laying around that I don't know what to do with, or do you support that cause?
Oh no,
I think you support the cause, right?
Absolutely, and we've said this before, that cigar smoking is not an inexpensive hobby. I mean, you can do it on the cheap for sure, and more power to you. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter if you're doing it on the cheap. You're buying full boxes of hard to find Opus X's. Guess what? You're still burning money.
Yeah.
And so if you're passionate about cigar smoking, and to be honest, I haven't met an avid enthusiast who's not passionate about cigar smoking. Almost everyone that walks into a cigar lounge, there are exceptions to the rule, but almost everyone who walks into a cigar lounge is there for the experience, and they're there because they're passionate about the leaf. Whether they're cigar nerds like myself and Jeff from Capital Cigar Lounge, or they're just really passionate about it like Tim, because I wouldn't consider you a cigar nerd. Would you?
Well, no, you wouldn't consider me a cigar nerd, but people that I associate with on a regular day-to-day basis that don't smoke cigars, then I'm a cigar nerd to them.
You're just passionate about it.
Right. That's what, I mean, same thing with people who are passionate about whiskeys or bourbons or
that would also
whatever.
be you. You're passionate about whiskey and bourbon.
Yes. Oh, me?
Yeah. That would also be you. Yeah.
Whatever.
Right. So anyway, you're passionate about it. If you're passionate about the hobby, you should be passionate about being involved. And a bare minimum being involved is becoming a member of this CRA. I mean, it's not expensive. It's less than a Opus X or a Davenport.
If you do it by year, you're looking at $25 a year, right? That's absolutely nothing when you think about it. And I think for the last several years, you're sitting here and we're sitting here in Iowa, and it really hasn't been a big thing because the big ticket issues were all at the federal level. And I think that's going to start to change. And I think that the issues are going to start to come down to the individual state levels.
Did you see that New York, just to highlight your point, passed a 75% cigar tax?
I have not heard that.
75%.
Doesn't surprise me. I mean, I'm from New York originally.
And that's terrible. I think Iowa's 6%. To put that in perspective, so you're looking at
6. No, I was higher than 6%.
Are you sure?
Yeah. I'd have to. I don't want to give out false information. I'd have to look, but I think it's higher than 6%.
Doesn't matter. It's lower than 75.
Oh yeah.
And every time
I think they keep trying to bump it up to 66 cents. Like every year they throw a bill to try to raise the tobacco tax or whatever. And I want to say it's like 62, 64, somewhere in the 60s that they keep trying to push it to. So far we've been lucky and that's been rejected.
And I talked about this with Jeff and Marie from CRA Cigar Lounge. Not this last episode of Simply Stogies, but the episode before. Check it out. Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, all your podcatchers, iHeart, Spotify. It gets thrown in with the sin tax. Essentially, yeah. And honestly, it's not like alcohol. It's not addictive. It's not like cigarettes. It's not addictive. it should be considered a luxury tax, if anything.
Right. Yeah, you're never going to see a campaign, don't smoke cigars and drive.
No.
Yeah. Just doesn't make sense.
I don't smoke cigars and drive, though. Do you do?
On occasions, yeah.
I don't. I won't do that.
Yeah.
I want to enjoy the cigar, and I can't enjoy the cigar if I'm focused on the road,
It's
should
an opportunity to
relax.
to relax, not have to listen to you.
Well, then you can drive next time, and I'll smoke,
Yeah, let's do that.
and then you won't have to listen to me because I'll be focused on the cigar. So we think it's very important that you become a member of the CRA. It's $25 a year. They run specials all the time. You get 2 cigars. They'll send you 2 cigars. Right?
Yeah, they'll switch it up a little bit. Maybe sometimes they'll do. I think they did a flask one year. They usually do the 2 cigars. Sometimes it's a hat. It just depends on what promotion. So you have to kind of watch for that.
I think the first time I signed up, I got 2 Rocky Patel Edges.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
I smoked
Well,
one.
Rocky Patel's a huge supporter of the CRA.
Right?
I think he's on the board.
He is on the board.
Yeah.
I think Pete Johnson is. No, is he on the CRA board now? Or is he on the
You know
PCA
what?
board?
It's
I don't
probably
remember.
about time that I looked that back up, because I do know that over the past 6 months or so, there's been a lot of things that have changed. A lot of people have retired. A lot of people have just decided to move on to other things. New people are coming in. So probably is about that time where I look to get myself updated.
Talking to people in the industry, business owners, lounge owners, because we've both said that the fight is going to start coming to the local and the state level.
I believe so.
The problem with having organizations like the CRA and the PCA on a local level, as far as I can tell, is that lobbyists that will come in from out of town to help lobby for the state don't know the politicians. And the
Right.
politicians don't know them.
Correct.
And so you really want folks who are involved in politics locally to get involved. And I think if you're a CRA ambassador, that should carry a little bit of weight with them, not a lot.
I mean, that's a valid point. And we kind of talked a little bit about this on the long drive up here. But that's a perfect example of a role for an ambassador, is to be that handshake between your local politicians and the lobbyists. So you're the middleman. You're the person that says, hey, I know this guy or gal and they're great. I know this guy and gal, they're great. So there should be no reason why we can't meet in the middle, get along, and figure something out.
Yeah, absolutely. And having Glenn Loop, former executive director of CRA, do they have an executive director right now? Has somebody taken over for what Glenn was doing?
So if they have selected somebody, it hasn't been announced yet, or it hasn't been pushed out to me. I mean, we do get email updates, but with everything that's going on, everybody moving, everybody doing whatever they're doing, traffic has slowed down a little bit, but I understand it. And if you want to know what's going on, honestly, you can come talk to me. You probably know half that stuff. Or you can just go to cigarrights.org. They're very good about putting information up there, even though sometimes you have to look for it a little bit.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of their website, but
It could be updated, yeah.
That's
But
neither here nor there. The most important part is what they do on a federal level. My question is how do we get it down to the state and local level? Because I think that's where the bigger fight is going to be, and it's going to be there very, very soon. And we're already seeing that. Places like New York and California are always passing shit that is just terrible.
Right. So I think that's what kind of made me want to become more involved. Is first off, this is Iowa. Iowa's known for passing things when people aren't looking, in my opinion. And on top of that, once it's passed, once it's into law, good luck ever getting it changed back or removed. Once it's there, they throw it at the wall, it sticks to the wall, it's like Gorilla Glue. It's going to stay there. So it's better to become involved, pay attention to what is at the House and the Senate at your state, know what's going on, openly communicate about it, let other people, because maybe you're not tracking what's going on, but I am, so I talk. Now I bring it to your attention. Now you're concerned about it. And then making sure to pay attention when the politicians are talking about it. You might have to take some time off work to go voice your opinion, because it's better to be looking at it and to be paying attention to it and be aware of it and be proactive than reactive. Being reactive, then you might as well just shut down the internet and sit in your closet and let life happen.
And before I forget, I want to talk about the nonpartisan aspect of the CRA. Because part of the conversation that I was having with Jane Solshine on Discord at Keepers of the Flame was that, in my personal opinion, this is just my opinion, people don't get involved with the CRA out of fear that it's like the NRA. And the NRA is famously on the right. And a lot of cigar smokers are on the left or in the middle or just don't care.
Yeah, see, that's the great thing about the cigar world, right? Is you can be wherever the hell you want to be on that spectrum, but ultimately when it comes down to this stick of tobacco leaves, even though you're on the one side and I'm on the other side, we can still be on common grounds right here.
And that's part of the conversation that I had the last time Glenn Loop sat down with me on Simply Stogies, simplystogies.com. You can look for that episode or on any podcatcher. But he said at the end of the day, politicians will go to a bar and they will sit down with one another, or they'll go to a party and they'll sit down with one another, they'll light a cigar, and they're friends. It's not what we see on TV.
No.
It just doesn't make for good TV. It's better entertainment if they hate each other all the time.
I don't know why they're trying to get ratings in politics, but no, you're absolutely right. I mean, those arguments and those fights, that's what gets people's blood boiling and gets people worked up.
And if you're worked up, you're going to give to their campaign because you don't. I mean, that's all it is.
Yeah.
It is a money-making scheme, in my opinion. That's why I don't.
Yeah.
I try not to get worked up over stuff, and I literally just stopped watching the news. Look, I'm old enough now where I know what I believe, and there's not a whole lot that's going to change that. Like, in order for me to have a massive paradigm shift, like something massive would have to happen. And it's just, I don't think that it will.
No, I agree with that. I mean, if you have a different opinion than me, I'll be more than happy to sit here and listen to your opinion, and I'll try to take something out of that. But no, you're not going to change my mind. I am who I am.
Yeah, I will have empathy, and I will try to see it from your point of view. And your point of view is your point of view. It's impossible for me to walk a mile in your shoes. It's impossible for you to walk a mile in mine. So your opinion is your opinion. But as cigar smokers, this is a nonpartisan issue. This is a look, man, we are not these guys. We are not vape. We are not cigarettes. This is a natural product. It's all like, I mean, you want to talk about organic. This is organic.
Yeah.
So
you can't
get more organic than a cigar.
No.
And we can, like I've said before, we can have a conversation about the place of flavored cigars, infused cigars, like the upsetters or the acids. We can have that conversation, but even on a basic level, they're different than a Swisher Sweet. They're different than a Black and Mild.
I think they still fit into the premium cigar category. I mean,
they're still hand rolled.
They're still hand rolled. They're so many hands touch them. I mean, they're still a $7, $8, $9, $10, whatever dollar stick. It's not like you're going to the gas station and picking up an acid Cuba for $3.
No.
Yeah. So you could say, oh, it's still a premium cigar.
And that's where I have a problem with trying to name a price for what is a premium cigar. And the best example that I can give of that is the Dream State. You can get those pretty regularly for about $3.50. But it's not a $3.50 cigar. It's just on sale for $3.50.
Right.
So putting a price on what is premium is absolutely silly to me. And that's why it's important for organizations like the CRA and the PCA to exist. Now, do I like everything that the CRA does or how they go about it? No. Do I like everything that the PCA does and how they go about it? Absolutely not.
But you can't expect an organization to be perfect and bat 1,000 average. There's going to be flaws, and what you think is a flaw might not be something that I think is a flaw. I mean, it is what it is, but it's still an organization that is out there actively fighting for our I mean, our pockets are right to smoke. And I say pockets because without them, the states would say, hey, let's bump that tax up 100%. And now all of a sudden, the $11 cigar is a $22 cigar, which makes your $30 cigar a $60 cigar.
Right. And think about that. A $30 cigar in New York right now, I mean, that's a $50 cigar.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Who's paying $50 for a cigar?
Not this guy.
Well, you don't pay $20 for a cigar.
No, I just beg you for him.
I don't think you beg me for them. In fact, you bitch at me when I give you a $20 cigar.
This is true.
So I think it's very important for everybody to get involved and talk to your lounges. Ask the owners, hey, are you a member of the CRA? Are you a member of the PCA?
It's the Great American Tobacco Shop program, and you can actually go on to the Cigar Rights website. You can go to state information, and then there's a list of all the states. Click your state, and it'll show you what laws are currently going on in your state right now, or what bills are out there that are being discussed. It'll tell you what your Great American Tobacco Shops are in your state, and it'll also tell you who your Cigar Right ambassadors are, and you'll see a picture of myself for Iowa and Nebraska.
Right, and Nebraska.
Yeah, pretty excited about that. Now, I hope you're going to do the same thing when you come on board.
I am.
Yeah.
For Nebraska, I even want to maybe do Illinois because I'm a little closer to Illinois.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. Have you looked to see if Illinois has any ambassadors?
Oh, they do. I think they have several.
Several?
Several.
Okay.
So I don't know if they'll throw me in the mix or not. And there are ambassadors that aren't very active.
There are a lot of ambassadors that aren't very active. Ambassadors don't get paid for anything that they do. It is completely 100% volunteer. We don't get any swag.
That's how you become active. That's how you become involved. That's a second step, right? Like giving to the CRA is great because it's like giving, if you're a gun person, to the NRA because you want to. And I hate the NRA. I think there are better organizations out there. It's just the one that everybody knows. If you want my personal take on it. It's like giving to the NRA because you know that they are going to take that money and mismanagement.
They're going to take that. They're going to take your membership money and they're going to purchase. Let's see. There's 12 months in a year, 52 weeks. So they're going to utilize that money to produce 100 physical hard copy publications to send to you.
That's pretty accurate.
The
CRA doesn't do that.
No, they don't.
No.
Everything CRA is done via email.
Which is, I think, is great. It's great for the environment.
It saves on cost. I mean, in my mind, if you were going to print out, say 100,000 hard copy publications to send out to your members, or just to even try to canvas and get more members, your membership's probably going to cost $30 or $35 because all that stuff costs money. So be electronic. I mean, everybody's electronic.
It's the way of the world. There's Zoom meetings now.
Yeah.
We used to do this over Zoom. And now we don't.
Thank God.
You didn't like that, did you?
I was not a fan of Zoom at all. We still use it, but we don't use it. We use Zoom as a tool, not the primary tool.
I would also say this, is if you're going to be involved, be involved. Signing up as a CRA ambassador isn't just about, which, by the way, I think we really need to put this out there. We are not being paid by the CRA.
No, absolutely not.
Absolutely not. This is
matter of fact. Even when I signed up for the CRA, I didn't even get the 2 cigar deal. I didn't get anything. I didn't request anything. I've legitimately just, hey, this is a great organization. I like what they're doing. I want to be a member. And then shortly, I think, 3-4 months after I became a member, I'm like, there's nobody in my state that is like the face of an organization. And that's why I joined, is I wanted to be that face. If somebody was like, hey, what the F is going on in Iowa in regards to cigars, they can go to the website, cigarrights.org. They can click and it'll email me, send me an email, and then we can communicate. And I just saw that face again.
What face? I looked over there at the TV.
No, whatever.
There's a football game on.
Whoop, I just hit the mic. Thanks.
Well, you can edit that out.
No, I'm not going to. I saw that face.
There's no face.
You the one lucky viewer, you leave a comment below and let me know if you think that's a Tim is boring as shit face or
I
he
just
must be
turned
checking
to
out.
the camera and smiled.
What is that? Wonder Woman football?
No, it's West Virginia.
Oh, that's a WV. Sorry.
All right, back to the conversation at hand. Like, if you're going to become involved in the CRA, become involved in the CRA, and don't do it for because you're not getting anything free. I don't think. In fact, it's kind of a pain in the ass, is what it sounds like. But I'm okay doing it because I think it's important. And your number one job is you're gonna go out. You're gonna be asked to go to events that request a CRA ambassador, and you need to be able to speak intelligently to the local, state, and federal fight that's going on. And that's it. That's what you need to be able to speak intelligently to. Now, do they want you to try to sign people up? Absolutely. But it's not like a hard sell. It's like, hey, this is what's going on. This is what we do. Here's why we're doing it. Here's the fight that we're doing right now.
Right.
Here's how you supporting us impacts us. It will impact you. Get involved. And by getting involved, all you got to do is give us your money. It's not that hard. I mean, it's really not. I watched you do it at the Nebraska Cigar Fest.
Yeah, if I can do it, anybody can do it.
I wasn't going to say that, and I'm trying really hard not to make a face right now for fear that Tim will be like, oh, there's that face again. Derp.
Well, for me, like...
And that's what you sound like. I'm going to make this so hard for you to edit.
Lo and behold, here's the deal. I'm not going to edit shit. This is going out raw. Going out raw. It's going to go out more raw than sushi.
Good Christ.
No. Have a good one.
Have a good one.
No, the reality of it is that for me also is it gives me another thing to talk to you about or anybody about when I'm at an event. If I go to an event with you, I'm pretty much just talking to you. Maybe if we happen to meet somebody, I'll talk to them. Or if I'm going by myself, I'm just kind of there by myself. But having that information about what's going on at the state level and federal level for the cigar world, I can go up to just about anybody and figure out a way to utilize that as an icebreaker and start a conversation. Now, it might only last 30 seconds about the politics side of it, but hey, now I'm talking to you about your favorite cigar or what your favorite lounge is or whatever. At least now there's communication happening.
Right. And that's the biggest thing is communication. And this hobby, this passion that we have is a great conduit for conversation. And typically, I had this conversation with Jeff and Mary again from Safari Cigars is, you don't want to talk politics. I don't see this as a political issue outside of what politicians are trying to do to it because politicians don't understand it. So it's really, and we talked about this with...
Well, non-cigar smokers don't understand it.
Okay, non-cigar smoking politicians don't understand it.
There we go. See, we just met in the middle.
I think that politicians from states like Connecticut, states like Florida, states like Pennsylvania, they understand it because it affects a lot of small businesses in their state. But now Iowa, off the top of my head, has 6-7 lounges.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, not very many. And there's
only
majority
3 million
of them,
people.
Yeah, the majority of them are all in the capital city. We got the one here in Davenport. There's one in Ankeny, but that's pretty much Des Moines area. Other than that, I'm not aware of any that are on the west side as you're going to Nebraska.
But it also gives you an opportunity when you go to a lounge to talk to lounge patrons about it, to talk to lounge owners about it. We've got to get involved, folks. If we don't get involved, we're going to lose it. And while we've won the fight for right now on the federal level, the state fights are going to be twice as hard because there's 50 times as many fights. And we see it every day. New York, California, even Texas. Government is in the business of making money. That's what government is in the business of doing now. They're not in the business of governing. They're not in the business of protecting. They are in the business of making money.
Everything costs.
And they see cigars as a way to make money. and it shouldn't be. I don't have a problem paying a tax on a cigar. I have a problem paying an exorbitant tax on a cigar.
Yeah,
That's where I have a problem.
100% agree. I don't, if you're going to say, okay, every time you buy a cigar, it's going to cost an extra quarter. Okay, fine. Every time that you're going to buy a cigar, you're going to pay an extra $1. Now that's getting excessive.
No, I agree. Get involved, folks.
Yeah.
That's really all I want to say is get involved. Any way you can, whether it's with your pocketbook or your time, get involved. So I want to switch gears here for a minute, downshift a little bit. I want to talk about something I don't think we talk about a lot here on this program. I talk about it a little bit on Simply Stogies podcast, but I don't talk about it here on Cigars and Coffee a lot because we're both males. I want to talk about women in the hobby.
Okay.
I'm going to talk about Instagram influencers first.
All right.
They're different than regular women in the hobby, right?
Right. Yeah. 100%.
For the most part, and not all of them. Not all of them. But for the most part, some women on Instagram think they can just show some skin, get some follows. I don't know if that helps or hurts.
So that does bug the shit out of me. Like, I totally get it, right? Sex sells. Totally understand that I'm a dude. And the things that they're showing me on top of the thoughts that go through my head on top of, oh, that does look like a good cigar in your hands. It just kills me because it's almost, in some cases, not all, in some cases, it's almost objectifying.
That was an annoyed face.
Yeah. So I legitimately have seen this so much that I've actually talked to my wife about, you know what I'm going to start doing? I'm going to start wearing like real low V cuts. And every time I take a picture of me smoking a cigar, and I'm going to throw it on my Instagram, like,
So do it.
I thought about it, but
I really wish you'd do it.
I have 100 followers on my Instagram, and I don't want to dwindle that down to like 2, which would be you and probably a stalker of some sort. But I don't have a problem with the influencers being attractive and sending out the word or the message and raising awareness and stuff like that.
Look, I don't typically pimp other podcasts. Not because there aren't good podcasts out there. There are podcasts out there that are probably much better than mine. But for example, the Lounge Experience. The women on the Lounge Experience, they're passionate about the hobby, and they don't use sex to sell. They don't.
Right.
The Cigar Madam, very attractive woman. She was on the podcast. Mm-hmm. She might be in a swimsuit. She might be in a bathing suit.
She knows that she's very attractive, but she's not that. Like, that's not the focus.
That's not the focus
of what she's doing,
right.
and that's apparent.
Right. I don't know how much good it does, because when you walk into a cigar lounge as a woman, are you overwhelmed? Are you intimidated? You shouldn't be. That should be the very last thing.
Here's the thing, though, is that we always say that. We always say women coming into a cigar lounge, they're intimidating. And we always say that you walk into a cigar lounge, it's just basically old white guys, right? In some areas, that might be true. In other areas, that might be the complete opposite.
So we were setting up, and there was an older couple that came in. Couple.
Mm-hmm. Couple.
They both sat here and smoked cigars. Mm-hmm. I thought that was fantastic.
I wish my wife would come smoke
I wish
cigars.
my wife would too. The woman behind the counter here, she knows her stuff.
Yeah.
I think there's how do we bring them in and make them feel comfortable? I've had this conversation with lounge owners. I just had this conversation with Lee Marsh from Stolen Throne, which will be on the next episode of Simply Stogies podcast.
I don't think that it's necessarily just females. Like, we say that because we don't see a whole lot of females in the lounge, or at least our lounges, we don't see a whole lot of them. When we're in David's, they'll come in, they'll grab some cigars, they'll leave. You don't see them hanging around. But I think males are just as intimidated. I mean, until you're a regular at that lounge and you communicate with people and talk to people, you're going to feel uncomfortable, I think.
I feel uncomfortable every time I go into a lounge I don't know.
I do too.
every time. And it doesn't matter how nice the lounge is. It doesn't matter how welcoming they are. I always feel like I'm trying to shill something, and I'm not. I just want to spotlight their lounge. I want to have a conversation with the lounge owner, right? And then
So
I get to know guys like Freddie here at Habano. Great guy. He was on the episode of the podcast. He knows his stuff. He's fun to talk to. Typically, you don't have anything to worry about.
So the mentality probably should be switched around. Instead of walking into a lounge and just kind of like, oh, what's going on? Just walk in, and typically right there by the register, you're going to see an employee.
Yep.
Just walk in and say hello right off the bat.
Or the employee should say hello.
But if they're not taking care of somebody else, I mean, it's easy for me to walk in and just walk in and say, oh, hey, hello. And if they're busy helping another customer, they can just, hey, and keep on going.
So this comes from 25 years in retail and retail management. If you say hello to somebody when they walk in, they're less likely to steal from you.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Because they're like, oh.
They know I'm here.
They know I'm here, right? So just from a business perspective, you want to do that. And I think most of the lounges we walked into to do that. And every lounge is different. Every lounge has a little bit different culture, a little bit different vibe, a little bit different feel.
Mm-hmm.
So just kind of feel that out, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think if you, we've said our two home shops, David's in the Des Moines area and then Habano here in Davenport, two great lounges, but two completely different lounges, two completely different experiences, which
this is
nice.
more open.
It is.
There's more
huge.
seating. They're going to open a VIP area back here. They've got lockers. They've got a ton of lockers for the VIP members. The walk-in humidor is larger. I think the selection is a little bit larger here than it is at. It's a different selection.
It is a different selection.
This is a Drew Estate lounge.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of Drew Estate. There's a lot of Hoyo de Nicaragua. But I just saw some Roma Craft in there. They've got Roma Craft now. So they're starting to get a little bit into the boutique area.
Yep, they have some crowned heads. Not a large crowned head selection.
Just don't be a trash human. That is exactly how Lee Marsh put it. If you want people to come into the hobby, you can't be a garbage person. Don't be a garbage person.
Yeah. I mean, that's solid advice.
That's solid advice every day of the week and twice on Sunday. You can leave that in, Tim. So I think that's going to do it for us here at Habano Lounge in Davenport. When you're in the Eastern Iowa area, when you're in the Davenport area, this is the place to go. Habano Hookah and Cigar Lounge. This place is great. So they've got Turkish coffee. They've got hookahs on the other side.
Have you ever done hookah?
I've never done hookah.
See, I've only done hookah twice because my wife asked me about this the other day about hookah, and I don't recall how it came up, but she asked me about it. And it's a really interesting method of smoking tobacco with a group of people, and it's a cold smoke. It's because it goes through water or something. This was so long ago, I don't remember every little detail. But I was talking to her about it, and she was actually kind of like on the fence about, I might be willing to try hookah.
And it has flavors. It
does have flavors. Yeah, you can get apple, peach, cherry. If you can imagine it, there's probably a flavor out there for you.
Never done it.
So who knows? Maybe I can get the wife a little bit more involved if I introduce her to a little bit of hookah. Just know that the hobby can be pretty expensive to get into, but once you're in, it becomes cheap as shit.
Yeah, like this one's not.
Yeah, this one is
just constantly expensive.
My cigar hobby was not as expensive as it is today, thanks to the guy sitting on my right.
You're welcome. Habano Cigar, they've got a Habano burger that they've had a local place do for them. So whenever they have events and they have food, they have their own burger.
Can we get those delivered?
I think we might have to figure out where that's at and go get a Habano burger.
I want to try a Habano burger.
So we'll get back to you. The coffee here is fantastic.
Coffee is good.
So they don't have disposable cups. They have
bring your own mug or
ceramic mugs here that you can get. They're right up there on the shelf. They've got the complimentary coffee. They've got water. They've got this is a great place. And if you want to find out what his vision for this place was listen to the episode with Freddie Allen. He did a great job explaining what this is. There's a lounge review on the website, simplystogies.com. Check that out. But if you're in Davenport, downtown Davenport, this is the place to go. It is a Drew Estate lounge. They even have a Drew Estate. It is a lounge exclusive to the Habano lounges. It is called the Pork Belly, and it is amazing. I have one. I picked one up while I was here.
See, I haven't had the pork belly yet. I was going to get one last time we were here, or last time I was here, and I didn't. I don't know why. I think I purchased some stuff that I knew that I've had before that I liked. My intent was to pick one up, and then I didn't, and I need to go pick a couple up.
How's that Hoyo numero uno?
I can tell you this. For me, it has stayed very consistent all the way. Well, shoot, is that halfway? Yeah, it's about halfway.
Drew Estate's always solid. Always solid.
It stayed very consistent. You know me. I don't really like to pick out flavors, although I think on Tales from the Lounge I might talk a little bit about that. But this is definitely, yes, this is a cigar that I would have again with my morning coffee. I do like it. This one gets approval.
For whatever that's worth.
Yeah, wow.
Drew Estate, shade, undercrown, very good, very solid. Typically, I have to touch these cigars up while we do this because I'm always talking.
Right.
Today, I haven't had to touch this up at all. I heard you had to touch yours up once. Have fun editing that out.
Just once. I'm not going to edit it. Man, I said, hey, let me help you edit this thing. And you're like, oh, yeah, great. That'd be good.
Yeah, great. Thank you.
Didn't say I was going to do a good job.
Next time on Cigars and Coffee, do you want to talk about boutique and what makes boutique?
Yeah, let's do it.
Hopefully, the next time this comes out, you'll have my top 10 must-try boutique brands that you may not have heard of, including brands like Castagli, Isabella.
Let's do it, though, where we can actually both smoke one of the cigars that are on your list. So it's got to be something, one of the cigars at least has to be something that is carried either here or at David's, assuming that's where we're going to record.
I don't know if either David's or Habano carries everything on that list or anything on that list.
Yeah, we'll have to look into it. We'll figure something out. Maybe they have something that's not on your list but is still boutique that they do sell.
Well, I mean, that's a great conversation. Is Drew Estate boutique?
Tune in next time.
Until then, I'm James.
And I'm Tim.
Stay smoky, friends.